Hi everyone, this is a quick video introducing you to Module 5. So Module 5 is the second module where we will cover poetry. In this one, we will be writing about poetry, and so you have two writing assignments that you'll complete, one journal and then the second essay for the class. The other thing that you'll be doing in this module is taking a look at the research project assignment. The research project is something we will be working on for the next 3 modules. It's not due until the end of Module 7. So you have a little bit of time to think about what you might want to work on and then, of course, complete the project. So we'll be doing the topic proposal in this module. The next module is where you will turn in a list of sources that you will use for your project, and then the module 7 will be when you actually turn in the project. So there will be more information as we go through the units, but if you have any questions about your topic, be sure to send me an email. So I'm just going to show you the unit here and some of the things we'll be working on. This is something that Canvas, it's a Canvas feature that I haven't used yet in the class. I set it up for Module 4, but I didn't set it up in time to record it in the video. And that's this checklist thing on the side here, and it says complete all items. Basically what happens is when you click on one of these items and as you move forward through the module, it will record what you viewed. So depending on what the thing is that you're supposed to do, these are supposed to be viewed. It will check them off here on the side. If you have something like readings, I'll usually have mark as done. And then that way you can, if you start doing the readings and then you have to come back to them, you can kind of keep track of whether or not you actually finished all of the readings or looked at all of them. For the readings in this module, there's a couple of sections that will help you, that you'll be looking at specifically for the poetry writing journal. And then this section here at the end of the essay is writing about poetry, and then there's an example of a comparison contrast paper. And so you'll need to look at those in order to write the paper. When you're finished, obviously, then you can mark it as done, and then when you go back to the module list, it will show up as a check mark. These 3 assignments here are submissions, so it won't show up as a check mark until you've submitted it. Again, this is just another way for you to keep track of what you've finished. Once you've completed all items, then it won't tell you that you needed to do anything else. So first thing you're going to do, obviously, after the readings is complete the journal. The journal is another type of writing assignment. This is what we call informal writing. This is just a chance for you to interact with poetry in a little bit of a different way. We've done a journal already in this class. The journal assignments are set up basically as a personal discussion board. So the only people who will see the posts that you make are me and you. And everybody's got their own page that they'll be posting on. So you have 4 entries that you'll complete. First thing you'll do is choose a closed form poem to read and then just write a response. It's a personal response. I'm just curious to see what you liked, didn't like, how you responded to it, that kind of thing, what you thought of the poem. And then the second entry will be to choose an open form poem in order to do the same thing, respond to it personally. So this poetry writing journal is all about the 2 different types of forms. We've got closed form poetry, which are the kinds of forms like a sonnet or a ballad or a haiku that have very specific requirements in order for that poem to count as one. An open form poem is a lot more open. This is the kind of poem that usually does not have any kind of restrictions as far as rhyming, meter, that kind of thing. And so there are a couple of different types of open form poetry, but in general, they are not restricted metrically. So there's just those different types. You'll choose one of each, you'll respond to them. For the 3rd and 4th entry, you're going to practice writing poetry. Some of you may have written poems before, and then again, this may be the first poem you've ever written in your life. So you're going to choose a form for entry number 3. You're going to choose a form and then write a poem matching that form. A lot of students choose a haiku because that one's a short one, but you definitely can choose one of the other ones. I've had some students try the really hard ones too. It's entirely up to you. I'm not grading you on how beautiful your poem is when it's done, and I'm not graded on the quality of the poem, just whether or not you met the requirements. And then same thing for your open form poem. Again, you may not be a poet and you may never have written a poem before, and so you may think it sucks when you're done, but that's perfectly fine. I'm just looking to see whether or not you can meet those requirements. So we're just practicing. It's interesting to see when you can study poetry and you can study what it looks like from the other end once it's published. It's entirely different to look at poetry when you actually have to create it yourself. So this is the creation part. The only person who will read these poems is me, and obviously you if you actually look at your own writing. So don't be embarrassed about how bad your poems are. So the thing with this one is, though, remember with journals, you have 4 separate entries. You'll hit reply for each one. You'll say, this is entry 1. And then once you have typed in your response, you'll hit post reply, and then you will hit reply again, entry 2, and so on until you have your 4 entries done. So you will not be replying to any other student. You are only creating posts on your own discussion board. So that's that one. The next writing assignments that you'll do is the comparison essay. So this is the second essay in the class. A comparison essay sets 2 things side by side. In this case, you're choosing 2 poems. You'll choose 2 poems and decide how you're going to compare them. You might choose to form 2 poems with good metaphors, 2 poems with good imagery. A lot of students choose theme, or maybe 2 poems by the same author, because often the theme will be similar. So, 2 poems by Edgar Allan Poe or 2 poems by Langston Hughes. There's a lot of different ways that you could compare. As long as you have a central basis for comparison, then you can choose any 2 poems. There's a lot of variety. You may look through the chapters and decide, well, I think that rhyming is really interesting, and so I'm going to pick 2 of the poems that are in the rhyme chapter, or something like that. So it's really up to you as to how you want to do that comparison, but you're only choosing 2. This is sort of like the analysis essay. I'm only looking for your own interpretation and your own ability to compare and contrast. So I'm not looking for you to do any sources. You're not doing any research. It's a 2 to 4 page essay. Typically students do a 5-paragraph introduction, conclusion, 3 body paragraphs that demonstrate the comparison. So we'll look at the aspect that you're focusing on in 3 different ways. There's a website here that you can look at, and then the pages that I showed you earlier on the resources page or the readings page will also help you out. And then of course there is the grading rubric down at the bottom, worth the same number of points as the analysis essay. We have the 2 essays in this class, and then the research paper, and then that's it. So the other writing assignments are different types of writing assignments for this class. So hopefully you're doing okay. This obviously being module 5, we are on the downward slope toward the end of the semester. This is the point where a lot of students start to lose motivation and get discouraged. So if you're having trouble, make sure that you email me, make sure you text me, see if I can help you out, keep track of your grades. If you have questions about those, make sure that you contact me. Otherwise, I hope you're doing well.